My name is Greg Olsen. I'm a painter and sort of an author. We have a new book called The Spirit of Christmas, based on a painting of that same name and a poem that I wrote to go with it. I think Christmas is my most favorite time of year. Hello, Merry Christmas. Come on in. And I think that connection to Christmas goes back to a very young age. I can still remember Christmas when I was 3 years old, I believe. I got a little farm set and a red fire engine truck. But what I remember most is the magical feeling that came with Christmas. Everything was different for the holidays. The decor in our home changed, the furniture was moved around, we ate different food, the smells were different, the lighting was different, the music was different, and that created in me a very strong concept of what Christmas was about. I think my connection to Christmas was full-blown as a toddler, and it stayed basically the same my entire life. My parents were wonderful at creating a magical feeling at home. My dad was kind of like Clark Griswold, I guess. He loved putting up decorations. We lived in the little town of Iona, Idaho, and I remember more than once my dad won the $25 prize at Christmas for the best Christmas decorations. And he would put up lights all around the house. The nativity scene was prominent in our front yard. He would build a special manger out of wood, and he would put straw down on the ground. We had nearly life-size cutouts of all the players in the nativity scene. There was the baby Jesus, and of course, Mary and Joseph, and the wise men, the shepherds, the animals. He would put a special spotlight on it. He spread straw on the ground, and he would go up in the hills and cut some juniper trees and mount them on each side. And anyway, it was a magical thing. There was always a star and a little angel that were suspended up in the air high above the stables, lit with a spotlight. We had life-size snowmen made out of cardboard that my parents had me paint, representing each member of our family, my parents and their 5 kids. And then on the rooftop was Santa with his sleigh and the reindeer, and it was also lit up. So somehow my parents found a way to integrate Santa and the real meaning of Christmas, which was the story of the nativity, the baby Jesus. But they were all combined together in just a magical Christmas pageant at our house. And for me, it had a big impact, and Christmas became such a special time of year. As I got older, I always felt kind of bad because of the upbringing I had, that sometimes we would pit Santa Claus and the baby Jesus against each other. It was as if you had to choose one or the other. And I never fully bought into that. And so this painting of the Spirit of Christmas was kind of born out of that idea that for me, they just meshed seamlessly. It was all part of the same story, one of hope and faith and love and charity and giving, goodness. In this painting, the Spirit of Christmas, Santa has come into, down the chimney, leaving presents for a family, and he discovers this nativity set sitting on the table. And he goes over, picks up the little figure of the baby Jesus and looks at it. And I imagine him just thinking about Jesus and his mission, his birth, what he stood for, his spirit of kindness and giving, and Santa trying to emulate that, using the baby Jesus and his mission as inspiration for what Santa was doing, trying to spread that same love and good cheer through his generosity, his kindness, and his love for those around him. So it was a meaningful piece for me to do, and I hope that people understand the spirit in which it was done, that it really, I hope, focuses on the real reason for the season, but shows how Santa can be part of that. There was a time after this painting first came out that I was doing a signing. We just released some prints with this image, and I was fortunate enough at this signing where I'm signing my name on images of the spirit of Christmas to have Santa there visiting with me, the very same Santa who was in the painting. And I would sign a print and then pass it off, and Santa would sign the print. So it was a wonderful memento for those who purchased it. But what stood out in my mind was the little kids who came to visit. They would see Santa and they would go running up to him, Santa, with their arms outstretched, and they would just, on an impulse, run up and give him a big hug and say, Santa, I love you. And I thought, this is about the closest thing to having Jesus there with me as I could hope for, because there was such love and connection with this figure of Christmas that stood for, I think, the same things that Jesus stood for. So it was just kind of a confirmation for me that there's some kind of a connection there, and hopefully that comes through in this piece.